So we're going to talk about cats dancing on Jupiter. So I am going to be going through the files looking for a ProRes file. It's 422. It's a 4K file. And start doing QC on it. Through different social media platforms, I've been getting various requests over the last few years. Where can I see it? And I apologize to the fans of Amanda, probably. A lot of them are amandarighetti fans. Or my fans, or maybe hopefully my new fans. I'm proud of the movie. I had received a message from a friend, and he's saying, "Oh, you need to do like a really well-crafted short, something that is, in a sense, simplified from story, screenplay, performance-oriented, not camera-oriented." Which I tend to I agree with that. It's a not fancy camera is not exactly. I don't need to prove anything in that regard. I think linear story construction is a different story. So that's sort of what we got. So here's the concern I have: is that Cats Dancing on Jupiter is that I already have a film done. I have a film made that is solid. The film did really well. I screened it, I don't know, a handful of times. 7-8 times. Very nice screening rooms. Probably an average audience of 30-40 people. Sometimes had an audience of a couple hundred people and a bigger thing. Did not do the film festivals. I think the film was entered in a lot of film festivals. It just I went to the Montclair Film Festival, which my film Terminal Bliss premiered. It was the very first movie they ever showed, and I think Stephen Colbert, who's a Montclair resident, is the head of the film festival, and I didn't write to him personally, but I was just like, I'm at a loss. I'm a Montclair, whatever, veteran, hometown, whatever you want to call it, and I think it's in the nature of, it's an erotic thriller, so it doesn't lend itself to people thinking of it as an art movie, but it is. I don't think I'm capable of doing something without an art movie slant to it. I feasted on art film directors. The people that come to mind that had a strong influence on me are, Eric Romer, Akira Kurosawa, Francois Truffaut, Fellini. I would even consider Woody Allen based on his age. He's an old art director, art film director. I know there's controversy surrounding him, but looking at the body of their work and what I learned from their work, I learned from their writing, I learned from their directing. A lot of what's interesting is you'll see continuity with cinematographers working with great directors. Right now there's a series on Netflix, I believe, called The Offer, which is based on the making of The Godfather. So at the centerpiece of The Godfather, people forget is the cinematography, and that was Gordon Willis. Gordon Willis shot for Woody Allen. So you think about a film like Manhattan or Annie Hall. Gordon Willis shot these movies. You don't think about them. Well, you think about Manhattan, I think it's black and white, so it's very stark and vivid. But Godfather was just incredibly underexposed. He was pushing the limits of the Kodak negative on the low end of the toe curve. So when you're putting this world together of a movie that was made 12 years ago, and it was shot in 4K, which was my first digital feature film. Before that, the film I shot was in 35 millimeter, Super 35 actually, to be exact in terms of format, sprocket to sprocket exposure for widescreen. And then when it was transferred, it was optically converted into an anamorphic film. That film was recently also archived on 4K, which I'll be happy to show. It's called Gentleman Bandit, Gentleman B in certain territories. But I can only make one of these archives at a time because they have to be assembled and recorrected and sometimes remixed. With Cats, I think the person that stands to benefit the most is Amanda. This is an undervalued actress. Amandarighetti, my ex-wife, She made some very strong choices in pre-production. She executed on those choices during production. We did not always see eye to eye on a lot of things when it came to her character of Josephine, but it didn't matter. What she was pushing for was the same. It ended up having the same goal as what ultimately my storytelling goals were, which is we were creating a sympathetic character that had a mental disorder caused by a situation in her childhood. And we got to see how this was manifesting itself in her life in Los Angeles. She's a girl from the Midwest. I feel strongly that she hasn't, I guess, been fully discovered for what she can do on the more internal side. She's beautiful on the outside, and I think therefore people tend to typecast. Now she's in her 30s, and I think that she's playing, now she's being cast as moms and other types of characters.